create in Shibori, you're just going to need a few items. I've chosen cardboard, rubber bands. I'm using some natural items like small acorns and a stick. Don't know how that's going to work, quite honestly. Scissors, RIT dye, rubber bands, or twine. I'm using today t-shirts just because it was accessible and quick. And you're also going to need to use a bucket. This is an older bucket. You don't want to use something brand new unless you plan on using it for other dyeing projects. So you want to use an old bucket of some sort that you don't mind it getting dye all over. So let's get started. Well, as you can see, I added one more important item, Pinot Grigio. Hey, if you're going to work on a project in the outside in North Carolina in the summer, Pinot Grigio is a must. So anyway, here's what we're going to do. The first thing you really need to do is figure out what you want, how you want to approach your task. I'm going to have each one of these guys hopefully be a different pattern. And the reason I'm saying hopefully is, guys, I'm going to be really honest with you. This is the first time I've ever done Shibori. Now, have I done tie-dye before? Sure. Have I done Shibori before? No. However, they're pretty much the same. It's just the way you do it and the fact you use one color. I have gotten pre-mixed RIT dye. You can get it at your local grocery store. You can get it at Target sometimes in certain spots. Walmart, obviously. But this is RIT dye, navy blue. And we're going to mix that up here in just a little bit. And I'm going to want it to be pretty strong. I want that deep navy. I don't want some piss-ass light navy going on. So, okay. I have my shirts here. They are cotton. So I'm just going to take one and just go from there. I think the first one I'm going to do is just going to be a very simple approach and regular. I'm not going to try to do anything with the little acorns or the stick or even this. I'm really just going to do something with the rubber bands. That's going to be my first one. And then I'll start getting a little creative with the others, and we'll see where I end up. I may end up with a pile of shirts that are going to be used as rags to wash my car, but who really knows? But for right now, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so here we go. A little more Pinot, yeah. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do more of like a puckered design with this. So really what you do, I hope you can see this well enough, is you just grab a section and you can either grab and pinch, do this, or you can kind of pinch and twirl a little bit. And then you take, I'm just saying, kids, if you can't have fun, then you take your rubber band and you just keep lapping it around until, to be quite honest, folks, you create kind of a nipple with your t-shirt. You can use cotton, silk, linen, anything that's a natural based fabric. I would not suggest using like polyester or anything like that. It doesn't take the color as well. So I would use a natural based product. So you're going to want to do that. I'm sorry, I'm sitting on my, look at go. La la la, found the clicker. Maybe I should just leave this on the table and not pretend like I'm doing something fancy. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue just to tweak, pinch, twirl. So once again, pinch, do a little twirl, and then rubber band. So I'm going to work on this, and we're going to pick up after I have all this done, okay? Okay, I wanted to show you a little bit of part of the process here so you understand that you've got to remember you're also picking up the back of the fabric as well. Now, if you wanted, you could always just do the top and then flip it and do the back. But I ain't got time for that. And it is hot. It's North Carolina summer. I am shooting this obviously outdoors, so you're going to hear probably my neighbors. There's a lawnmower going. I'm sure you'll hear people in the back. We have some neighbors to the left and right of us. So I'm sure you'll hear noises and maybe some dog barking, etc. So don't be alarmed if you do. But here's what I've done so far, and I'm going to keep going. My goal is to do the whole front here, and then we'll start with the dye and get that mixed, then go from there. So I'll be back in just a bit. I thought of something that I need to share with you guys that I didn't really think about. As you can see, I've got my assistants here with me to help. Hey, Maui. What you need to remember is the area that I'm bunching up, that's going to be the white part of this. So the majority of this shirt is actually going to be dark blue because I'm pulling up and it's creating wrinkles for the resist. So you kind of almost have to think in the backwards way, like if you wanted the whole shirt to be more white and this to be more blue, you'd have to really bunch up a lot and have more of this sticking out to be the blue. Does that make sense? God, I hope so. It made sense when I thought I needed to tell you, so we'll see, okay? So I have everything banded off. I have made sure, just from a design standpoint, I didn't put anything on the nipples. The last thing you really need to do when you're bunching up a shirt like this is to have two big old white rings on your boobs. Male, female, whatever. You don't need it. Everybody knows you have nips. We don't need to accentuate them. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix our RIT dye with water so we can start that process with my gloves, etc. However, according to the RIT dye instructions, we need warm water because that's what it says right here in the directions. Add hot water. So I'll be right back because the spigot here outside doesn't give me hot water. It gives me icy cold, fabulously cold water. So let me go do this and I'll bring the bucket back out and we'll start the dipping process, okay? Change plans. I need to do the other shirts because the water's gonna chill out over time. So with that being said, I'm going to throw this shirt. Let's pull it. Hello, Maui. They can't see you on screen, but they can kind of see you. They saw your hair, your nose. They saw your nose. So we'll start on another shirt. Once again, plain white tee. Let's see what we can come up with. Curious about using these. Not sure how it's going to turn out. However, we'll see. So the trick here is you have cardboard squares that you place within your shirt to create the pattern. Now the first one I'm going to do is the typical, I guess you would say Shibori pattern. I don't want to say typical because that might offend people, but here's the thing. I'm going to probably offend a lot of people on this channel at some point, one day or the other. Not intentionally, but I'll probably do it. So it's a typical Shibori pattern where it's a bunch of squares. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shirt and I'm just going to place it so like about here. One, because I know that the seam here of the V-neck is here. So what you do at that point is you start to fold. So I'm going to fold this like so, and then I'm just going to fold it again, and I'm going to fold it again, and notice I'm folding up the sleeves here as well, and then I'm going to fold it again, okay, and then I'm just going to fold, and then I'm going to fold this direction, and then I'm going to fold this direction. Now let me tell you, this may turn out looking like poo. We're going to find out though, won't we, kids? So then what you do is you take your rubber bands, snap it around a few times. I'm going to put extra ones on just because, hey, Why not? You're going to probably want to buy a crap ton of rubber bands if you want to do Shibori. I got mine at Target, and yeah, I don't remember how much these cost. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it doesn't say there either. But anyway, I got them at Target. You can get them anywhere though. Go to Staples, Walmart, whatever is your shop du jour. And so I'm just gonna make sure that this thing is really banded down. Oh, that's a good thick one. Everybody likes a good thick one. So okay, so guess what? I'm done with this. I'm not gonna do anything else to it. I'm just gonna hope and pray it doesn't turn into a shit show, to be quite blunt. So let's start thinking about the next one. Hydration, people. Oh, shiny for this first video. Ooh. Well, actually, this will be the second video, because my first video is not, hey, welcome to my channel. But this one is going to be number 2. So, hydration. And since we're in North Carolina, if I look a little shiny, it's not just sweat, it's also bug spray. Thank you, mosquitoes. There's one of the neighbor's dogs. Okay, so now we have shirt number 3. I only have 4 shirts. So the next one, what I want to do is, I think I want to do these little acorns, and I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this. There's something about it that I think is interesting, and I want to play. I don't know if I want to just throw them into the shirt and then just kind of bind it, or what. I don't really know. This is definitely out on a limb situation here, folks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the shirt. I have these little mini acorns. I also have that stick that I might throw in here just for shits and giggles. So I'm taking the shirt and I'm just gonna kind of, fabulous, looks wonderful. Now, here's the tricky part. I'm going to, let me throw this stick in there too. I don't know what that's going to do, if anything. It'll probably just mess everything up. But, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to fold this way. Basically, I'm going to make an envelope. I think that's the most important thing to think about when you're doing Shibori or any sort of tie-dyeing situation here, is you create almost like an envelope for whatever you're dyeing. Now I have a feeling what I'm going to end up with is some weird tubey kind of looking creation here. This is fun. It'll be cool to see. Any minute now you're probably going to hear Leia bark because there's a cat over there. She loves cats. So let's see. I can feel the acorns still in here. Now keep in mind, anywhere I'm doing this binding, it's going to be white. And the other thing I'm hoping that'll happen is that wherever I'm also doing the binding within, where I have like the acorns, it'll create some sort of odd pattern. But I really don't know. And that's the thing I want to tell you guys. On this channel, you're gonna watch me do stuff, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I'm gonna show you my failures, and I'm also gonna show you my successes. My opinion is, it's life. Come on, people, we're not all perfect. We're not all perfect. We're never gonna be perfect. And if you think you're perfect, oh, bitch, please. You got another thing coming on. So I just wanna say, hey, this is me. This is my world. This is what I'm doing. And I'm sure there's people gonna be rolling their eyes. And you know what, that's okay. I pay my bills. I answer to only a few people. That's it. I don't care. Do I want my followers to really like what I'm doing, and do I want my followers to grow? Sure. Who the heck doesn't? If you're gonna be on a medium like this, of course you are. But am I getting caught up in it and be like, oh, somebody hates me? No, not gonna happen. So anyway, I'm creating a weird, this thing looks like a horn. It almost looks like Cruella de Vil or something. So I'm gonna keep going with this, and let me get back to you here in just a bit, okay? We'll see what happens. I really don't know. So I have finished this one with the stick inside with the acorns, the little mini acorns. I really don't know what's gonna happen here. I really don't. I hope it'll be cool. I want it to be cool. I just don't know if it will be or not. But we'll see. Like I said, successes and failures, successes and failures. So now I have 3 shirts done and I have 1 left. And I'm not really sure where I'm going to take this one. I kind of think I want to just do almost a play on, you know, a typical tie-dye with Shibori. So I think I'm going to, once again, I don't want to go, hey, here's my nipple. So I'm going to go here on the shoulder. And I'm just going to pull and turn, turn and turn. Turn, 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 turn. And as you see, I'm not picking it up. I hope you can see that. I'm just turning the t-shirt in place. And now I'm going to take rubber bands and I'm actually just tying off, if you want to call it tying off. I am creating areas of, shall we say, tension. Areas of tension. So, okay. God, I hope somebody watches this video and likes it. Jesus. Maybe 3 people. 4? 4 maybe? Maybe 4 people? I don't know. Leia, what do you think? 3 or 4 people watch this video. What you think, Leia? Is it too hot out here? Huh? I know you can't see her. She's behind me now. Okay, so I have 4 t-shirts now. So we have the pucker. We have cardboard insert, square. We have acorns and stick. And we have spiral and looks like a little dead body or something, doesn't it? Oh my God. It's the Laura Palmer tie-dye. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get the hot water and we're gonna dye these bad boys, okay? See you in a bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna be AE, the fabulous talking body without a head. So, like I said, I'm using RIT dye. And per the instructions, hot water, shake well before using, and we're going to throw in, let's talk about vinegar and everything else. So let me go get some vinegar. I didn't do that part, I forgot. So let me go get that. Let me throw some vinegar up in this dish, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I've got some apple cider vinegar. Why? Because guess what? I didn't think red wine vinegar would be good in here. So anyway, go away, fly. That's my wine. So I've got my vinegar in. I'm gonna shake this again a little bit more. You can never shake enough. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the RIT dye. Ooh, yeah, there. I'm throwing it all in because, like I said, I really want that dark blue. I want navy. I don't want kind of navy or anything. Okay, to put on my gloves, which I hope fit well. Thank God they come in different sizes now. You know, they used to be just one damn size. And you're just like, I can't fit in these. Leia, no, go on. Got a close up of my chin. Hello, that's my chin. Those are my gray hairs. Okay, so right now, can't really see, but there is the navy dye in there. Okay, I need you to bend over and cough. I'm just kidding. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, there's the dye. You can see it's pretty dark. I'm gonna do a little mix with the hand so that the apple cider vinegar and the hot water mix well. Okay, so I have these. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take my item and submerge it. There are bubbles, and that's okay. You want bubbles, you want some movement, etc. So see, already, look at that color. God, that's gorgeous. Okay, we're gonna sink Laura Palmer now. That's what her name's gonna be from now on. Bubbles once again. you kind of almost feel like it almost stops. I hate to say this. It almost stops bubbling after a certain point, like it's, you know, dead. So we'll move on. Okay, the stick and acorn, which unfortunately is not going to fit. So guess what? I broke the stick. Yes, I did it. Okay, I've dipped it into the dye now. And of course it's hot water on a hot sunny day in North Carolina. What am I thinking? Okay, the last one goes in, fully submerge. Some bubbles, not as much as the others. Okay, so now guess what? We're gonna let it sit for a while. And the other thing that we need to do, okay, hold on. Let me take off a glove here, hopefully without getting anything all over me. Oh, of course I just went in the water, okay. So the other thing that we're gonna have to do is, one of the mistakes that a lot of people make when they're doing this kind of work is they will go ahead and get all excited and want to take the bands off. It's important that you let, Leia, go on, that you let your garments dry. I'm not saying throw them in a washer, that's not what or dryer, I'm not saying that. What I am saying though is, once they're done, you set them out and let them dry. Because what happens is, if you take them off too early, those gorgeous white places that you really want to have happen won't. So I'm gonna let this sit for just a little bit and then we'll get back to you and we'll go from there, okay? So, according to our lovely information on the back of the red dye, these should set for about 30 minutes. Once the 30 minutes is up, we'll take them out. We're gonna place them in a safe place to dry and get ready to untie, or uncut, I should say, all the rubber bands. Something you want to keep in mind is, once you're done with the dyeing process, you will cut the bands, and you'll want to hit those with heat. So what we're going to do, as soon as it's dry, which this may be a day or two later because you really want it to be solid and relatively dry, we're going to throw them in the dryer to heat set it. And what that does, it just makes sure that the dye, you know, as the saying says, it's set, so that you're not going to have a lot of running of dye, etc. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you were dyeing something that you're going to be wearing, i.e. a t-shirt or scarf or anything of that nature, I would highly suggest that your first few washings, you either get one of those color catcher things you throw in the washer, get one of those, or maybe just wash them with darks. If you do something dark, obviously, like we're doing here with the Shibori, because you know what's going to happen. You're going to have lots of light blue briefs if you're a brief boy or girl, or your pretty white bra will be pale blue, which you might like that, I don't know. But anyway, wash them by themselves or throw those color catchers in. It's going to be important, okay? Okay, so a little handheld work here. So you'll see that all of the items are submerged in water, and some of them are up above, and that's okay. Because guess what? It's still going to pull the dye through the fabric because it's a natural item. And that's what you've got to remember. You don't have to set something on it and have it deep in the water. It's okay for it to be sitting the way it is. So what we're going to do, 30 minutes from now, we're going to come back, and I'm going to take these out of the water, and then we're going to place them to dry. And then, hopefully tomorrow, we'll be able to cut these rubber bands off and see what gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful things we have. God, I hope they're pretty. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to cure up, 30 minutes, we've got about 15 more minutes to go. What I've done is I've taken two old baking cooling racks, and I've put them out because this is where we're going to put our finished product. These guys are going to sit here to dry. I've also put this underneath it. Now this is just an old canvas that I had. It's already been gessoed on the other side, so it shouldn't leak through. So that any dripping off of these will just hit the canvas and kind of be absorbed by the unprimed canvas here, but it shouldn't come through the other side. Hopefully, if not, then we'll be painting this, and that'll be another project later on the EE Creates. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I'm letting this dry. If you notice, I have blue fingers. That was with wearing gloves, and here's what happened. When I was taking the gloves off, obviously they were inside out, so I was turning them right side out, or right side in, whatever, and ended up with a blue finger. So it looks like I've been fingering a Smurfette or something. But anyway, so here in just a little bit, we'll put these out and let them dry, and we'll go from there. And I realize I keep saying we'll go from there too much, so maybe I'll start stopping that. Okay, see ya. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes, and what I'm gonna do now is pull these out of the water and place them on the racks to dry. So hopefully this goes well. I'm doing this with left hand, right hand. Yeah, craziness. So let's reach in here. Well, here's the squares. I'm gonna let it drip a little bit so that it'll hopefully minimize. I'm not squeezing it, I'm just letting it drip out. For the simple reason that I don't want to squeeze it because it might screw something up in there, okay? So I'm going to take it, place it on our rack. I'm leaving the one that's a little more nippled to the last. Okay, here's our stick and acorns. Drip, drip, drip. Notice it's really not dripping a lot. It's dripping some, but not a lot. Okay, we'll lay that here. Okay, where's the other one? Okay, here's Laura Palmer, the body. Okay, letting that drip a while. Laura's juicy, she's got a lot more water in her. Remember, Laura is the one that's almost like a typical tie-dye. Okay, so we're gonna lay Laura here. Okay, and then the last but not least is our nipple one. So, we'll let that drip. Okay, so I'm gonna place them over on the drying rack, and we will come back tomorrow to see how things are going. Okay, so something to keep in mind. Yes, we have a gorgeous navy blue right now. Everything will be darker because it is wet. So I'm hoping that when this dries up, we'll still have this gorgeous navy blue. Something else to keep in mind, you don't have to do like I said, a t-shirt. You can do a scarf, you can do handbags, you can even do paper. I know it freaks people out because they're putting paper into water. That is how paper is made. Paper is made with a water process. So you can easily make Shibori Shibori paper. So you could do envelopes, you could do stationery, you could just do a piece of art. Do a piece of fabulous paper. Go to your art store, get a great piece of paper, fold that bitch up, put in some blue dye, and then take it and frame it, and bam, you got something fabulous. But anyway, cardboard, sticks and acorns, nipplegate, and your typical swirl tie-dye. Tomorrow, we'll be cutting these loose, I hope, if they get dry enough. Thanks. So here we are. It is now day two. It's been about, let's say about 17 hours since we did this. They're still relatively damp. It could also be because, I'm filming this around the time Hurricane Dorian is starting to come up the coast. Actually, it's still near Florida, but the humidity in the air. But I think we're okay. I'm going to wait till this afternoon, which would be 24 hours, and then we'll start to undo our rubber bands. Remind me to tell you guys something about this one that I had a little revelation about. This one is probably going to be a solid blue shirt. Long story. I'll tell you about it. But anyway, hope not. We'll see. Could be a surprise. This one could be the prettiest one of all. Who knows? But around 4 o'clock today, we're going to unwrap the stick,
the nips, this, and Laura Palmer, and we'll go from there. Oh, fingers, fingers. Yes, I'm putting fingers in there. God, I hope the videos get better going on.
Okay, so now we have waited 12 hours. 12 hours has passed since yesterday. As you can see, minimal drip, not a lot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut the bands and see what we ended up with. They're still a tiny bit damp, but obviously not coming off of my hands like yesterday, so we should be in a pretty good shape. So I'm going to start with our nipple tee, shall we call it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get to the bands, just slide my scissors in there and start pulling the bands off. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I hope we get to see some really cool effects. The thing you want to do and make sure is that you don't cut your shirt or whatever other piece of fabric you're dealing with. I see some cool stuff happening. Probably could have done more of these little squiggles, nipples, shall we call them. But it's turning out looking pretty cool so far. So we'll see how this all works out. But like I said, I'm going to show you good and bad. I have a feeling bad is going to be right here. So let me finish up with this and we'll get back to you in just a second, okay? So now I have everything cut and here's what we ended up with. Okay, a little shibori on the sleeves. And remember what I told you yesterday about the front and the back? The back. So we've got some really interesting shapes and stuff going on here. What you need to remember is each one of these areas here is where the pucker was, and these are actually the rubber bands. So if you want more design that way, you can actually do the rubber band a little tighter and do more of them, and you should get another shape. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to move on to the questionable one here, and we'll be back in just a moment, and I'll go from there with that. Okay, great. Moving on to the questionable one. And you will notice I do have a little bit of blue on my fingers, should wash off just fine. So now let's start cutting these. Like I said, I really don't know what this one's going to turn out like. A little bit concerned. I have a sneaky suspicion I'm just going to end up with a bunch of a big blue shirt maybe. Although I am seeing some lines coming up from these rubber bands. Just a bit. However, I have a feeling it's going to be just nice. Oh. Okay, bitch, I see you. Look at you. Okay, let's see what we got. This is a surprise. Was not expecting this. Okay. Ooh. All right. Look at this. Oh. Love, 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 love. Now I've got a little bit of a red here. That's from the cardboard, I have a feeling. So what may end up having to happen is once maybe we wash it and dry it, because it's a lot more moist than the other one was. I mean, it's still kind of wet. But as you can see from the back, it didn't do anything, but in the front, it gave it a little bit of a pink. But even that, I love that. Oh, yes. Love this. Okay, so I'm just gonna move right on into, I'm gonna do Laura Palmer. I'm sure I'm gonna get comments on that, but anyway, that's what it looked like. It looked like a body in a bag. I feel like I should hear like doo 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 doo. It's her. It's her. It's Laura Palmer. Anyway, and plus that was Audrey's theme. Laura's theme was dun, dun. Did you all catch that? The Twin Peaks well, not reboot. I wouldn't call it a reboot. It was just a new season. It was really good. Very David Lynch, which I'd expect nothing less. But it was good. You should watch it. Okay, so I'm cutting away here. This one's still kind of wet too, but let's see what happened. Remember, this is the one we kind of spun and pulled and twisted. Oh, fast. Look at this. Oh. Guess who's going to be rocking some Shibori t-shirts? So, look at that. That's fabulous. Love, 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 love it. Okay. Let me do a little cleanup here. I'll be right back, okay? And lastly, we have sticks and acorns. As opposed to sticks and stones, we have sticks and acorns. So let's see what happens here. This one should be an adventure. Yeah, let's see what happens. Rubber bands are flying everywhere. Oh. I'm intrigued by doing the paper. I think that could be really interesting to see a like a Shibori piece of art. I just have to get some great watercolor paper and try it out, because that would be what you'd want to use. Probably something a little heavier. You wouldn't want to get some typewriter paper out of the copy machine at work and start trying to do Shibori with it. Just don't think that's going to work very well. I'm trying not to cut my t-shirt here. Remember, this is the one that has all the little pieces, or the, sorry, not little pieces, the acorns, as well as the stick that was from the patio. I have no idea what this is going to look like. Of course, the one I was really worried about turned out really cool. Okay, so now I've gotten all those taken off. Let's start to unroll and see if that affected anything. Okay, here's what happened. Absolutely nothing. So that's good to know and to learn, is that all that we have really is a t-shirt with an interesting design, mostly caused by our rubber bands, not because of what was in there. So that's interesting to learn. We've got some staining here, which I'm sure will come out when we wash it. But still a cute shirt. I'd wear it. I'm planning on it too. So I'm gonna take these downstairs. We're gonna put them in the dryer for a bit, and there you go. Shibori, Shibori, Shibori. But I will show you the after product after they're dry, because they're still a little wet. Okay, so we're downstairs. Like I said, I'm not going to wash these, obviously. However, I'm going to place them in the dryer. You know, you got to check these things like the lint. I'm going to put them in under normal temperature and let them dry. This should set the color and take care of any other issues I might have. So there you go. So dryer just finished. They've been in for about 40 minutes. So I'm gonna check and see if they're dry, and that they are. And one of the things I'm noticing already is that the white places that were in the shirts aren't really that white anymore. bit more like a light blue. So it kind of loses a little bit of the effect. So I know it looks really white here, but if you see it in person, it's not as much as it was when I first originally pulled it. So maybe what will happen is if I wash these now, you know, as you can see, some of that pink stayed from that cardboard stain. But maybe once I wash them and then dry them again, we may see a bit brightness. But I will tell you that even the blue has lightened a tad, which is a little disappointing because it was really pretty earlier. I don't hate it, but I wish that white was white and not this blue color. Of course, it's showing up a lot whiter on camera. Anyway, so there's that, and I guess that ends the Shibori video. So here's where we're at with this. As for instance, this was actually the one called that I was affectionately calling Laura Palmer. You can see this is not white. This is not the blue that we had. The nipple one. This one, I think this was the Sticks and Stones one, or the Sticks and Acorn one. And then this was the one that even had the pink colored cardboard stain. So as you can see, they're not white. They've died out. Are they still wearable? Of course. Are they ones that I'm going to want to wear as a Shibori example? No. Will I be doing them again? Yes. Like I said, what I've learned is the RIT dye, because of its just nature, you have to let it sit even longer so that it actually stops moving, so to speak, throughout the fiber. So what I've now learned is it probably would have been a good idea to probably take a hairdryer or something to the t-shirts and dry them that way, and then let it set even longer so that it stopped the movement of the dye. So next time we're going to do it a little differently, but this is the outcome, and it's not bad. And learned a few things, like we learned about the sticks and the acorns that really didn't work. We learned that the cardboard worked pretty well. I think I know what I need to do next time to make it work even better. But anyway, so we're good. It's not great, but we're good. And I'm fine with it. So we'll end this video, and next time we'll just do better.